Once, the Ayleids ruled Cyrodiil in brilliance, their cities gleaming with magicka and divine light. Now their towers lie shattered, their name whispered only in ruins. The age of their glory has become the silence of their tombs. But deep in the jungles of Nibenay, one heir still carries their flame. Baron Meranir Varianel, scholar, dreamer, and heretic, dares to defy history itself. As empires fall and faith fades, he seeks to awaken what the world has chosen to forget. This is where it begins, the rise of a lost king and the restoration of a civilization buried by time. Hello everyone and welcome to Elder Kings 2 and the first episode in our Ayleid Restoration series. We are playing as none other than Meranir Varianel. Now for anybody who hasn't, I would highly recommend you go back and watch episode 0 of this series where I do a deep dive into who Meranir actually is, why we've chosen these specific traits, what our overall goals are, as well as what the world looks like at this point in time for anybody new or returning to the lore. Given that I've done that breakdown there and probably a bit of an overview in the intro to this series, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time talking about who we are and what our goals are, but in a sentence, for anybody who's not that interested in episode 0, we are one of the last remaining Ayleids, and our primary goal, starting in Bloodrun, is to eventually take control of the Kingdom of the Heartlands. From there, we may even want to go and try and grab all of Cyrodiil. We want to essentially bring back the ways of the Ayleid, and critically as well, if I go into our actual secrets here, in secret, we actually worship the cult of Meridia. So at a certain point, we're going to want to make this secret religion known to the world, and then try and actually make that the main religion of all of Cyrodiil, and possibly even further. A big thing to note, especially since that it is very specific to this mod, is the fact that our character is really going to focus in on Arcana. This will let us cast spells. There's magic perks as well that we'll look at in just a second. We are attuned, which helps with not only our overall Arcana, but also our Magicka regen, which is ultimately the resource that we're going to use to cast those spells. And we're also born under the Mage, which gives us a +4 base Arcana. And lastly, seeing as though we are an Ayleid, we have an unusually long lifespan, so debuffs across the board. However, we will live to about our mid-200s, unless of course something else disastrous happens to us. That's all I'm really going to say about Meranir for now. Like I said, please check out episode 0 for more on that. In terms of the lore behind starting inside of Bloodrun, ultimately the Ayleids were driven underground. Meranir here was ultimately selected to be the first Ayleid to present himself to the world. Where possible, we try and pass ourselves off as just another high elf, not exactly an Ayleid. Some people undoubtedly are going to have their suspicions or no, but ultimately the Ayleids were ruling Bloodrun beneath the surface, hidden inside of their own enclaves, but have now decided it is the time to emerge from that seclusion, follow Meranir, and have him ultimately be the founding father of the Ayleid restoration, with the ultimate goal of expanding outwards from Bloodrun here, moving into what is currently the Akaviri Potentate, and then taking over all of Cyrodiil. So that is the Cliff Notes version as to what our overall goal is here. Firstly, let's have a look at our actual capital holding here. So Bloodrun itself is of course a tribal holding. We do get a decent bit of tax and levies from a tribal holding at the very least. The faith is of course 1,000 cults, which is our faith publicly. Again, remember that secretly we worship Meridia. And then inside of this jungle holding, we have slave pens. So these are giving tax, but they are hurting our development, which to be honest probably works tremendously given it's a tribal holding, because development doesn't really matter to tribes in general. We will need to keep an eye on that control and popular opinion, however. And then we also just have some longhouses for levies, control, growth, and prestige. All right, that's fine. Very important to remember, though, that this holding is a jungle in terms of the men-at-arms that we use, and also the fact that if we are still holding on to this holding where we're no longer tribal, it's going to really hinder development. Okay, so let's first of all choose our lifestyle. Now, what is new here is actually magic. So we now have the magic lifestyle here. These are going to break down into conjuration, destruction, alteration, illusion, and restoration, which those of you who've played Skyrim Oblivion will probably make sense to you what each of these actually pertain to. So let's see, we can have a magical theory focus, for magic is nothing to be toyed with. There is centuries worth of experience in books. Why repeat past mistakes? This will give us stewardship learning as well as a magic experience per month. We have practical magic focus. Experience is the best teacher. Practice makes perfect. After all, magic is a tool to be used like any other. This will increase our martial, intrigue, as well as our prowess. Or we have thaumaturgic magic focus. If used wisely, magic can do wondrous things that will inspire awe in the hearts of everyone, and this will give us +1 diplomacy as well as general opinion. In terms of perks, we already have alteration. This enables us to apply burdened, which gives -2 prowess and -10% travel speed, from petty all the way up to burdened. Okay, so then the burdened one is going to be stronger because this is a grand spell. We can see the levels of spells here, from petty to lesser to common to greater to grand. And a grand spell is 5 times as powerful as a petty one, but is 400% the cost in Magicka. Okay. We also have Novice Illusion, which enables us to do muffled senses, increasing hostile scheme success chance against the target character for 5 years. We also have Apprentice Illusion here for charm to improve the opinion of a target character. We have Novice Restoration, which allows us to cast Resilience, which is going to help our prowess and health based on the actual level it's cast at. Apprentice Restoration enables us to cast Mend Wound, which heals wounds or reduces severely or brutally wounded by 1 step, as well as healing infected wound. And then lastly, we have Minor Restoration, which enables us to fortify one of our actual skills as well. As we move down these trees, we can then pick up the actual Master level, which will, for example, here in Restoration, give us the Vitality spread, enabling us to increase the Development, Popular Opinion, and Plague Resistance, as well as Lift Curse. Remove a terrible Daedric curse placed by malevolent forces, okay? It also unlocks the Extend Lifespan decision, as well as Study Self-Replication decision. This is true for each of the actual magical branches here. I'm not going to go through all of them just now. I'm sure we'll experience them in time. But I think we'll definitely want to start off in the magic lifestyle. And I suppose magical theory makes the most sense for the stewardship and learning. I mean, the martial and prowess will probably help us quite a bit in terms of warfare. Maybe let's actually go practical magic focus. So we can see here that the mage is slowing us down a little bit because while it does give us a base arcana, it slows down a monthly lifestyle experience. And then on top of that, because we live for so long, we have a -50% gain to our actual lifestyle experience as well. So it's going to be quite slow to actually level up inside of our lifestyles here, but we live so long, we should have the ability to finish quite a few of them. And we do actually have 2 perks to choose from straight away. Given that we know that at least eventually we're going to have to venture out and go to war here to expand our holdings, I think I might take Novice Destruction here, at least for now. This initially gives us Detract Magicka, so we can actually reduce someone else's Magicka, which could be quite useful. And we'll take Apprentice Destruction as well, which enables us to inflict wounds, giving either magical burn, magical frostbite, or magical shock. What we can also do apparently is choose a patron here. This is interesting because technically we're choosing a patron in our public religion while we don't actually believe in it, but if there's buffs to be taken, we will certainly take them. We could go Cult of Heavens here for the learning and arcana. I'm not too sure how often we'll get the ability to actually increase our arcana, but if we can, I think that would make sense. I think we should really try and just become a ridiculously powerful mage, especially given how long we'll live and how young we are. I think we have the potential to unlock some really powerful spells. The other option we have up here is Cast Spell. So at the moment, we have 50 out of a possible 120 Magicka. Let's see, if I do Cast Spell, okay, I can then pick inside of here from what I know. and then that is how I would ultimately cast it. So for example, resilience here, I could cast this on myself and I will get +1 prowess as well as a medium boost to my health. There is also necromancy in here, but that is something we will be staying firmly away from because the cult of Meridia that we secretly follow absolutely hates the undead. That is literally our primary goal to destroy in the world. It's a sin to be a vampire, sin to be undead. We hate undead and vampires. We hate necromancers in general. What is virtuous to us is being a champion of Meridia, being zealous, brave, as well as diligent. No point looking too deep into this right now. We're not actually going to get any bonuses from this, but good to know that behind the scenes, this is what we actually believe. In terms of decisions, what major decisions do we have available to us off the bat here? Adopt autocracy ways through liege. As my realm grows, so does the challenge to control it. My liege already follows the autocracy system. I could ask his help in restructuring my realm along similar lines. This would enable us to adopt autocracy, and then my tribal vassals will change. Okay, so it's ultimately kind of like in the base game when you adopt feudal ways, but I'm sure it's a little bit different with some nuances there. We have the ability to adopt an orphaned child. The tribe has many orphaned children. You may visit their caretaker in the hopes of finding a suitable heir for you to adopt. So this is an option for us if we are married and if we are either close to death, cannot have children, or unable to have children with our spouse or concubine. And then lastly, we have choose a Cyrodiilic cult. Cyrodiil is a land of 1,000 cults, and it is not unusual for our people to pick one that suits them the most. So this would actually change us from 1,000 cults here to actually picking a specific one. We don't really have any interest in doing this right now, and it probably suits to actually stay the same religion as those around us, at least publicly. There's no point in us taking heat or debuffs from the fact that we're a religion they don't like when we can just publicly be theirs, even though privately we are not actually 1,000 cults at all. Then, of course, we have the usual commission banner, train for tournament, convert to local culture, reveal true faith, which we'll probably want to do eventually when the time is right, abandon secret faith that we definitely don't want to do. We can recruit for court position or invite Pelin. I assume Pelin is our word for warriors. As the Arpin of Bloodrun, I need brave Pelin to defend the realm and conquer new lands. I will send out a herald to let my subjects know that I am in search of skilled warriors. In terms of our military then, we have 378 levies. We do start with 2 units of bowmen and 3 units of pikemen. 2 actual men-at-arms regiments that are going to be incredibly unique to us is the Ayleid sorcerers, as well as the war mages. Although I believe war mages are more basic, and then the Ayleid sorcerers is like the better version of them. So mages are actually a whole new type, and while each kind of mage is unique, they generally counter heavy infantry and spearmen, and are in turn countered by archers and spellblades. They also have an impact on sieges, although they are typically less effective than dedicated siege weapons. Okay, so I think we maybe want to try and actually possibly reduce down or delete our bowmen here and try and get Ayleid sorcerers in instead. I feel like that's much more on brand. Interesting as well that looking at our actual contract with our liege here, and our vassal contribution basis is actually arcana. So the amount of taxes and levies the vassal, we, are expected to send to our liege is tied to the liege's arcana. So because he has 10 arcana, that will impact how much vassals send in terms of levies and gold to their liege, which is interesting. There's also lots of other options here as well, such as champion of faith, cultural rights, minor tributes. Some of these may be of interest to us eventually, trying to get a hook on our liege to get, but I expect we'll probably get more use out of them when we have vassals ourselves. As for those directly around us in Relicel here, it is an Argonian, it looks like. Chiefess does paperwork. 901 troops, does have Histmenders here, which are also magic-based troops, also types of Argonian mages. Interesting. Then to the right here, inside of Pantherfang, we have Prioress Levinia of Pantherfang as well. Much less troops here, just some bowmen. So that could be a good initial option for us. We are not endorsed by our court priest here at the moment as well, largely due to culture. So being Mathmeldi is probably, at least publicly, what is making us stand out the most here, because there is no Methmeldi around us here at all. There is Methmeldi in the world. Where are they, though? I believe that they are somewhere over here. There is Methmeldi Ayleids here, but as you can see, there's like 3, 4, maybe 5 counties that are actually Methmeldi, so very much a dying culture over here, and one that we are very much trying to bring back. Speaking of that, let's start with promoting the culture inside of Bloodrun here to try and actually convert it over. This is new. The population of Bloodrun still clings to their Nebanu traditions and customs. Their stubbornness makes them difficult to rule over, and it would be better to settle some of our own people there. Settlers from the various settlements and cities are ready to start a new life in Bloodrun, and most are merely waiting for our approval. Okay, absolutely, give the order. As this culture is not native to the region, our conversion efforts will be greatly slowed down. Okay, interesting. I'm willing to accept that, though. I think that makes a ton of sense, that it would be quite difficult to relocate Ayleids into Bloodrun, seeing as though there's so few Ayleids in general. There is also Wendelbek to the north of us here. It's actually a bridge between these two counties. Baron Usus of Wendelbek here. Not a lot of troops at all. That could be a better target to start with. If we can try and make ourselves a little bit bigger, then maybe have an independence war against our liege and take all of this for ourselves. Important to know, though, that if we take Wendelbek, we could very easily find ourselves at the end of an Akaviri potentate conquest. So have to bear that in mind as well. To be honest, being a vassal inside the Akaviri potentate is still possible for us. We could try and essentially scheme our way to the top from within, but we'll have to see. He could end up going in a different direction. Right now, he's actually in a war currently that is looking to overthrow him. So the Colovian Estates, General Atribus of the Colovian Estates here, is actually leading a war to try and take control of the Akaviri potentate. He is a legionary and actually follows the 8 Divines specifically, which is rather interesting. Insane martial, 34 prowess. Let us keep an eye on that war. But I think for now, I will immediately start fabricating a claim on Wendelbek here, just to see if we can pick that up for ourselves. Oh, here we go. First interaction with our liege here, and he is asking us to be the steward of Artmon. We will gladly accept for the extra income. We do also have one more building slot inside of Bloodrun here. I mean, like, war camps and palisades could be interesting for the stationed damage, but seeing as though neither of these give bonuses to station mages, I think instead we might try and go for markets for the extra tax. Our liege has just passed limited crown authority, which enables him to revoke titles as well as retract vassals, and he can make some tributaries as well. Another option we have in terms of court positions, I don't want to go too crazy on this initially and end up actually eating into all of my income, but I would like a decent court mage. We do have one man here, but his aptitude is rather poor. We can, though, reach out and try and search for a court mage to hire. Let's definitely do this, I think that will also help our arcana. Okay, here is our options for court mages. First, we have Uril here, 5 arcana, and then we have Valasha as well. Now, Valasha is actually already an apprentice magician. I think it very much has to be her. She also has that larger lifespan from being an Ayleid herself. So welcome in, Valasha. I do also want to try and prioritize people that are currently in our court that are Ayleids as well, as part of our restoration is making sure that we bring as much of our people into the world as possible. And to do that, I think I might even marry Valasha here, our new court mage, to Sadhelel Tinubin here, who is actually one of our commanders. They are both Ayleid, and they both currently exist in our court. I think marrying them off makes sense. I would marry her myself, but the issue is that it would be a significant hit to my legitimacy here, which will take us down to 1. I don't really want to deal with those debuffs right off the bat. I could end up severely regretting that if we really struggle to find another Ayleid character, but for now I think we'll be okay. The court mage here has 3 different ways she can help us. The first is study magic, so every month this character has a chance of learning new spells or gaining arcana. She can help us actually gain plus 9% monthly lifestyle experience in the magical arts, as well as every month has a chance of generating additional magicka for their employer, or we can have them cast spells for us. I think we'll go arcane support here, especially given the fact that we are like minus 57% currently on our magical arts lifestyle experience, so anything to counter that is good. Uriel, though, the man that we didn't take as our court mage, is still wandering, so I will actually invite him to court since he will accept. We really want to try and make sure that we keep as many Ayleid characters in our court as possible. The others will be slightly more challenging. They are technically a different type of culture, as well as across the board being of a different religion, so I don't know if it'll be as easy to invite some of these over. For example, you, if I wanted to marry you and try to invite you to court, you have a base reluctance of minus 50, and because of your opinion of me, it is minus 10. So we probably will need either a hook or wait until we can generate a different Ayleid character by recruiting for a core position in the future. But no crazy rush to actually get married, though. We are going to live till we're 200. Worst case scenario, we do just marry a lowborn Ayleid that we find. Even if it's a legitimacy hit, it'll only be once. Okay, we've managed to fabricate the claim on Wendelbek. The only issue is that it's 81 gold, which will put us quite a bit in the negative with only 3 gold a turn. However, I think we kind of need to do this. Otherwise, it's just sort of wait until we stack up gold. But I don't mind going a little bit into debt for now, and then we'll wait till we're in the positive again to actually declare here. And hopefully you don't pick up any alliances in the meantime. I am curious, can I cast a spell on you? For example, if I was to inflict wounds on you, oh, I'd gain Dangerous Mage for 5 years, Natural Dread and General Opinion. We'd lose 40 magicka, but he would gain one of these actual debuffs. I don't really know if that makes a huge amount of sense at the moment, because what if it's super successful and kills him? That doesn't really help us immediately. I mean, it would destabilize the realm a bit, but I think there could be a better use of that 40 magicka. I will start to sway our court priest as well to see if I can get him to like us a bit. He's not really going to like the fact that we are a different culture and whatnot, but over time, he should see sense. Now, of course, Wendelbek here that we want to attack does happen to have log fort, so his fort level is at 3. I believe ours is lower. Yeah, ours is only at 2, so could be a little bit harder to siege it down, but I think we'll have enough men. The other thing that is important to note, though, is that we are gaining about 1.3 magicka a month, but we can currently at least only hold 120, so we probably will want some fallback spells that are just good to cast whenever, because essentially any month where we're at full magicka and don't cast a spell is a waste of 1.3 magicka. I think what I will do is actually destroy my bowman here. We'll keep the pikemen, but then we'll make a unit of Ayleid sorcerers. Once these get up to size to their max of 50, I'll then be more than happy to actually start this war. First one will be a little bit tight, but I think we'll still be okay. Oh, we do have raiders here from Shadow Spring. Oh my word, it's the frog people. Where is your actual holding though? Oh my word, it's all the way over here. You must have been on a rampage sieging this down. It's unfortunate that we are just shy of the men-at-arms needed to actually counter this. Although they don't actually have any loot yet, so it may not be worth it. However, they may try and siege us next. Now, I've also just noticed that in our spellbook here, alongside our actual spells, we also have rituals. Now, most we do not have an available ritual for, but we do for restoration. Inside of here is where we can actually have minus 0.2 magicka, and that will actually fortify one of our stats. So I think let's absolutely fortify Marshall. And let's fortify stewardship as well, at least for now. When we get better rituals, I'm sure we'll get those in as well, but we do also have the ability to possibly have quite a few ritual slots. Since we're almost full on magicka as well, I may as well cast resilience on myself. I could cast grand resilience for the prowess and health boost. Maybe not. Maybe let's do greater though. No real harm in doing that and just making sure that our magicka is always high enough that we're ready to cast the spell if needed, but never just full and doing nothing. Okay, our Ayleid sorcerers are up and ready. Let's declare this war and see if we can make it happen. We will be leading our troops directly across the bridge and into Wendelbek here. He has 712. It's supposedly going to be balanced. More men-at-arms, defensive buildings, and defending in jungle. Let's see. Okay, here we go. The battle begins. The battle begins. It is looking pretty decent so far. Advantage seems to be in our favor. The only real issue would be troop count, but his is now starting to dwindle, and it looks like we will be okay. Will we have enough men left to actually siege, though? Okay, incredible. We managed to beat him off. He is now retreating, and we do indeed have enough men for the siege. It is quite nice that the Ayleid sorcerers give just that 0.1 siege progress a day. I feel like that can actually make a difference, especially on this low-scale tribal level. Oh, what is this? To my vassal. As you may have already heard, I was compelled to depart with urgency to attend some important matters of a delicate nature. While I was able to grab a few essentials, I implore you to promptly send the items in the attached list to the docks for immediate transport. I have engaged the services of a trusted agent to ensure that these items are delivered to me at the earliest opportunity. I appreciate your attention to this matter and look forward to receiving these items as soon as possible. I can say right away, my liege, and lose 50 gold, or I can't trust this, and no doubt he'll be angry with me. Thing is, he doesn't really have any alliances at the moment either, and his troop count is nothing too special. So you know what? No, I can't trust this. I'm going to hold on to the gold, and we will see what happens. Oh, 75 prestige, and he loses 30 opinion of me? That's fine. I'll happily spend that instead of 50 gold. The siege is finished. There we go. 100%. And that is Wendelbek under our control. This is also going to increase our legitimacy level to 3, which will be very nice indeed. Let's enforce these demands. It'll disband all. And that is now Wendelbek under our control. That has hunters' lodges for some tax, as well as those log forts as well. We possibly want to move our capital here in order to actually have that higher fort level. It's not really going to save us against any major invasion, but it could slow down other tribes even a little bit. Now that we have both of these, I can actually station both of my men-at-arms for the increased damage that we will definitely do. When we get enough prestige, we'll be looking to increase the number of Ayleid sorcerers we have. And that should be enough to either strike against our liege or pick up Redwater just next to us here. How are you looking? 475 troops, but you do have an alliance with this duchy over here, who in spite of owning all of this, only has 279. He's also an admin government type as well, which is interesting. Let's make sure that we increase the control in Wendelbek here as much as we possibly can. You keep working on converting the culture. 20 years is but a blink of an eye in the life of an elf, so we'll be fine. Now, what I really need is some more prestige. We have a decent bit of gold now, so I think I might actually plan a hunt. Let's go to Punk Marsh here. We will increase the attendance for the success chance, and then party size will go max as well. It's not that much gold. 63 gold to max out success chance and prestige gain. Absolutely worth it. Theoretically too, because we are going to live for so long, we do have the potential to become incredible at a lot of different things. Hunts being one of them. The amount of hunts we could possibly go on in our life is going to be massive. Do we want to go for the hare, the bear, or the fox here? Let's go fox, middle of the road. It does decrease our success chance quite a bit, so we'll want to get this going. The Runtsley here is our steward and also a commander. Good aptitude to become master of the hunt. Let's absolutely do that. It'll give us 75 prestige as well. Now, how do we want to handle poachers here? We could punish poachers for the holding taxes, but we'll lose even more popular opinion. And they already don't like us because of our culture. We could toss a coin for 40% chance of a bunch of bonuses or 60% chance of success chance going down, losing prestige, and outraging the poachers. I think for now, I'm just going to say get out of Arpin Meranir's jungle. Oh, what is this? Nature's Guardians. As the hunt goes on through the jungle, me and my group find ourselves surrounded by plant-like creatures shaped like a female humanoid who commanded a group of wild foxes. I heard someone shout Spriggans before the kerfuffle started. Spriggans are known as sacred protectors of nature, highly revered by those who worship nature in their daily practices. I can't help but wonder if this area is being targeted by hunters too much. I can say sacred or not these beasts are going down, I could gain some prestige, but it will ultimately screw up the hunt. There's also a chance that they kill me. 28% chance is not a low percentage. Or we can retreat and our success chance will increase slightly. Let's retreat for now. We have no real beef with the Spriggans. We will attempt the more perilous route of hunting down and cornering this fox rather than waiting with a bow. Okay, here we go. 76% chance the beast is slain. 23% chance it's slain anyway, but it wounds us. Amazing. We've slain the fox. 50 prestige and completed our slay the beast intent. We have become the owner of our very first inventory artifact of the foxtail. Nice bonus to prestige there, as well as some more legitimacy. And of course, we have picked up the actual trait of hunter. I'm then going to use this prestige to increase my Ayleid sorcerers up to level 2. The Akaviri potentate is seemingly on its last legs here. It is losing tremendously to the Colovian estates here. They're at 85%, maxed out on battles, just some more sieges to go. Alright, so next up, I'm actually going to fabricate a claim on Redwater here. I think we can take them even with their allies over here. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. Once I take this, I'll be at 3 out of 4 domain holdings, and I imagine I should be strong enough to then go for independence against Artman and then take this duchy off of him. Okay, so I have requested to find a new court physician here. Zerasi here is actually one that they've recommended. Isn't this the same Zerasi that we had in our prison and released? I'm pretty sure it is. We also have Saras, but then we also have Haruna Gier, another Ayleid. And I think this time we may actually not only hire her as our court physician, but also potentially marry her. She is sadistic, lazy, and gluttonous, but other than that, she's perfect. All right, Haruna, I will lose some prestige for doing this, but I won't actually lose any legitimacy because you're not technically a lowborn. I will also try to romance my new wife here, we'll secretly plant a love letter in her chambers, because ultimately, I think the sooner we can become soulmates and the more children we can have together, the better. Children will likely be a bit of a rarity though, given the minus 30% fertility that we both have with our increased lifespan, but that also makes sense. I think if it was normal, we would end up with hundreds of children before we died. The only trade-off to making sure that we marry another Ayleid and have Ayleid children, though, is it does lock us out of a marriage for an alliance. So we very much have to be able to stand on our own 2 feet here with our 1,000 men. But we have just picked up another magic perk. So we've been going down destruction here, and to be honest, this destroy walls on a province is very nice actually. Reducing fort level, raid time, and garrison size, that could be huge. I do also like alteration down the road where we get transmute to actually gain some gold. For now, I will take Journeyman Destruction. Destroying the walls while we're sieging could be absolutely incredible. I think that's one that we have a genuine use case for very soon in our war against Redwater. There is the claim on Redwater. See it done. Nice that we're not going into actual deficit now. I will give it a little bit longer just because I don't want to go into the deficit while actually at war. So we'll save up a little bit and then we'll launch this war against Redwater. What is going on over here? Things are getting sieged down and everything. Oh, he's defending against a peasant uprising. And this is actually your ally as well, so this is probably a fantastic time to call in our claims. We don't have 16 prestige. Our scheme to romance our wife has been successful and she has become our soulmate, which has also given us 150 prestige, which is great news because we need that to launch this war. It is interesting that we actually get minus 20% from remnant kings inside of our culture, which is on top of the minus 25% from Lifespan 3. Remnant Kings here is what enables us to actually recruit the Ayleid Sorcerers. Callous gives more prestige. Vengeful is more common. Killing rivals and nemesis gains prestige and stress loss. Faithful Blade trait is more common and gives piety. And characters of this culture may build a slave market's line of buildings, but it's another minus 25% to cultural acceptance. Same culture opinion, which is not really going to help us, and intrigue per level of fame. So we're fairly debuffed when it comes to prestige. We do have ways around it, but that is a bit of a major debuff, especially while we're tribal. But regardless, we now have what we need to actually claim Redwater and start the war. I'll raise all my troops over here, and then while I am doing that, I want to cast a spell. The thing is, though, do I cast the spell on you? It to actually destroy walls? Ah, yes, then I can actually choose the target county. Okay. So destroy walls petty reduces the fort level by 2. What is the fort level here? It's 4. Okay. So if I cast this at a lesser level, it should technically take the fort level to 0. Let's try it. He absolutely hated that. Absolutely hated it, but it should help us. We'll go straight over here. His troops aren't even here. Oh no, there we go. There they are. Okay. Again, he has all those defensive bonuses as well as more men-at-arms and higher quality, but hopefully we have the numbers here to make this happen. Yes, we do. That is fantastic. And hopefully this siege should be incredibly quick now that I've destroyed their walls. Maybe I needed to go one more, actually, because their buffs there add up to 4, and I've subtracted 4, but they're still left with 1. So I don't know if it has a minimum of 1 that I can't actually go past, or if I cast at a higher level, if it actually would have helped us. But either way, this should be a success in less than 3 months. There it is. Redwater is ours. 21 gold from that. We will enforce our demands once again. Now, Redwater is actually a very interesting holding because it looks as though it's actually the capital holding of this duchy, which has not yet been formed. It also starts with a small harbour, which is tremendous. So of all the places for a potential capital, I think Redwater may be it. No reason to move there just yet, though. We can't even build a duchy building in the duchy holding, so I'm not too concerned with that. Somehow the war for the Akaviri Potentate is still going. They're at 90% now, seemingly just struggling to get the last of those sieges in, but it does look as though the current ruler of the Colovian Estates is about to take control of the Akaviri Potentate as well. What we could actually work towards as well is creating the Duchy of Redwater and then holding our capital in Fort Redwater. I don't know if there's a reason why we'd want to hold Artmon instead. Oh, maybe there is. Artmon River Channels gives tax, supply limit, and development. But hold on a minute. The war is over. Cyrodiil is in shock. The warlord Atribus, a zealot bent on destroying the Akaviri Potentate, seized the imperial city and with it the crown of Cyrodiil. While it is said that the Elder Council should soon get in power and become the ruling body of the Imperial Isles, along with it, most of the province, the young warlord will still stay in control for a few years to deal with the aftermath of the war. The warlord's hatred for the Akaviri is known by everyone, and some whisper that Atribus might use this time to further his own ambitions. What fate awaits the rest of Cyrodiil? So he's actually been killed too. He just straight up executed the ruler of the Akaviri Potentate. And now if we zoom out, it is the Ayleid Empire. Incredibly interesting. So he's taken most of the heartlands and then just sort of pieces of the surrounding kingdoms, to be honest. Bruma here is still broken apart. Still the Abbey of 8 down here as well, but I imagine he may start to expand out into those to try and get Cyrodiil de jure. It leaves us in a very interesting position along this border province here. Basically, though, what I was saying is that maybe Artmon may make for a better capital holding. Didn't this just have a special building in it like 2 seconds ago and now it's gone? Ah, no, I see. It wasn't actually the capital holding. It was this city holding that had the river channels. All right, so there's arguments for both, really. This does give tax and levies, but the development is not going to be important to us unless we plan on our capital staying there, which long-term I don't. Redwater I like as it has that tax anyway from the small harbour, and we can level this up, so I still think Redwater is my preferred choice. We need 250 prestige to declare our independence war. We can host another hunt though, so let's go and do that. This time we'll go over in Kindred here. Do we have enough gold to max this out again? Yes, we do. Let's get this going. And then actually I almost forgot last time, but our intent should be to slay the actual beast. This time we'll go for the badger. Why not? Our success chance is a lot better off the bat here. Oh, it looks like we've actually come across a legendary creature. It got away this time, but we now have a legendary sighting for 3 years. And seeing as though I'm going to want to be doing hunts on cooldown, we may actually have a chance to catch or kill this legendary beast. The hunt failed, but we still gained quite a bit of prestige. I am happy with that. And of course, now that I'm ready to declare my independence, my liege has just picked up an alliance with Prefect Various here, who has 579 troops and is deeper inside the actual empire. That is not fantastic, especially since Artmon and Relicel here are both controlled by him directly. Very difficult to take those back off of him without him just rivaling us and then demanding we give it back. And then we're in a war with him anyway. We could try and pick up Pantherfang, possibly. Quite a weak holding, but a little bit separate from us. The alternative is trying to finish out the actual Duchy of Redwater by picking up, what is this? Meridia here. The only problem with that is they do have about 1,000 troops, and they are also allied with another 331. So we're not far off being able to challenge either of these, but we're not quite there yet. I may want to use my prestige to increase my sorcerers a bit more and try and make up our numbers that way. Problem though is that the sorcerers aren't very numerical in strength. Their max is 150 as opposed to the pikemen here giving us 300. So we maybe have to eventually be comfortable with fighting a force larger than us in the hope that our men-at-arms are better. But we have to take into account what their men-at-arms are in that case. Pantherfang here does actually have the special building of Pantherfang Chapel, which is increased to fort level and holding taxes as well as piety. So that could be a reason to go for Pantherfang anyway, even though it's not exactly right next to us. We may as well get to 4 out of 4 domain holdings while we're building up our army. Oh no, a scheme at court. It is Sadhalel, one of the few other Ayleids in our court that is scheming against our court priest. See, in this case, I don't actually want to expose him. I'm trying to protect the Ayleids here. So whether true or not, I will not accuse him and we'll gain a weak hook on him instead. I think I will straight away grant you a pardon as well, just so your opinion of me is nice and strong, because I don't want you doing something that I don't agree with and then losing the literal only 2 other Ayleids in the court. It's him and his wife and me and my wife. I wanted to briefly as well have a look at the actual math melody culture here. We had a look previously at Remnant Kings. That is the one that's giving us minus 20% monthly prestige, but is also giving us the ability to recruit Ayleid sorcerers. There's Hidden Cities, which gives us an increase to fort level, as well as like tribal hold level in jungle terrain here, which is actually helping us quite a bit, at least where we are currently, as well as reducing building and holding construction cost in jungle. Jungle Dwellers is also doubling those buffs for being inside of a jungle, so that's why this start actually works very much in our favor. Sorcerer Kings is very interesting. Gives us the ability to enact hold on, are we being raided? Yes, we are. Only by 521 men. They do have 300 bowmen, and those are siege engines, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. All right, that should be fine then. We'll raise all here. We should be able to fight back against this. The unfortunate thing is they don't actually have any loot on them currently. But if we can, I'd like to stop them from sieging this down. Are we going to get there in time? Oh no, they're going to siege us down anyway, and now we have to attack into them to try and get that back. Courtiers have been killed. Courtiers have been killed. Any Ayleids? No, but they did get my wife. Oh boy. All right, we'll try and capture them here in case we can get her back. If not, we ransom her. All right, here we go. Very important to win this, but shouldn't be that much of an issue. Their siege weapons are not going to help them here. Perfect, there we go. Our loot has been recovered. Does that include our wife? No, it doesn't. She is still locked up. We will pay the ransom. Our realm priest was actually killed. We have a new one now. I have to sway you also. Our counselors were killed, but no Ayleids were killed at the very least. Also have a faction for lower county control inside of Wendelbek there. That's to be expected. We should be able to deal with that. Just have to time it right, really. He's agreed to release our wife for the ransom. Very important. What is this? The partition of Skyrim. After the death of High King Logrolf, Skyrim was broken into 2 halves. The new holes support the new Western Pretender, while the old holes threw their support behind the daughter of the last High King. Now, after years of uneasy peace and Cold War, the 2 claimants of the old throne of Ysgramor met and marked the end of this conflict. High King Eric and High King Malgorm recognize each other as High King of Western Skyrim and High King of Eastern Skyrim respectively. Only time will tell if this peace will last, or if one side will try to one day claim the old High Kingdom for their own. A land divided, but a land at peace. So that is Skyrim up here, and that is Western Skyrim under King Eric and Eastern Skyrim under King Malgrim. Whiterun and Winterhold are seemingly still independent, as well as the Rift and Falkrent? Is this supposed to be Falkreach? Is Falkreach around here somewhere? I'm not too sure. Helgen's right there, though. I imagine it's now going to be a race for Western and Eastern Skyrim to see who can pick up the remainder of the rest of Skyrim. That's their de jure holdings there. Oh, what is this? Clairvoyant. Most people believe that illusion is all about deception, and even though this assessment isn't wrong per se, there is of course more to this school than mere glamours and mirages. For instance, through apophatic intrusions projected into one's surroundings, one can turn the fundamental magics of illusion into something that reveals the truth instead of concealing it. The simple clairvoyance spell. Granted, its scope is limited. I have found no reference to it being refined to such a degree where it could rival the alleged prophetic gifts of the wise women of Morrowind or even the cultists of Azura. It seems like one can only use it to strengthen intuition, confirm reasonable doubts, and connect thoughts that were already there, but perhaps I could attempt to tune it as high as possible. Dangers and secrets shall lie bare to me. 34% chance we gain magic lifestyle experience. We learn of Errantly's lover secret. We gain clairvoyant mage for 4 months. 33% chance we just get clairvoyant mage, and 32% chance just magic lifestyle experience. Alternatively, we gain 100 piety and earthly focus. No. Dangers and secrets shall lie bare to me. I got the worst possible result and just gained 50 magic lifestyle experience, but I will still take that. The Daedric alphabet. Ever so useful for arcane purposes, such as the creation of sigils, the study of the Daedric alphabet is vital to any aspiring conjurer. Possessing secret letters, alternate forms, clustering irregularities, and all sorts of oddities, it is considered by many scholars to be one of the most difficult languages to exist. And it is rightfully so. I'm having a great amount of trouble figuring out simple inscriptions, and I begin to wonder if I'll ever be able to comprehend a single sentence. So in this case, I could try and push myself harder and gain a magic lifestyle experience. I could give up and gain neglected studies that I definitely don't want to do. Or I could send a letter here to Denosso, a wandering tribunal temple Ga Julani culture, and they might be able to help me. Alright, we'll try that. Let's send the letter. To the cocky Meranir, I hear that you are dabbling in things you barely understand and have naturally run into the limits of what your mind can comprehend. Should you insist on pursuing your Daedric studies, I could be persuaded to serve as your tutor if you were to reimburse me for what I will no doubt be a prolonged and frustrating exchange of letters. I mean, she only wants 50 gold and will gain 100 magic lifestyle experience and possibly some boons from understanding Daedric, so why not? Oh, there it is. Finally, we have another magic perk that we can select. Out of curiosity, what is next in Destruction? Display of Might for control decline decrease. That's interesting. Could have its uses. Holy, ignited weapons. That's very nice as well. One perk path we haven't gone down yet is actually Conjuration. Now down the bottom here, we do have Master Conjuration to summon an army of Daedra. However, we need to be very careful about how we position this in terms of the lore. For example, Conjuration unlocks the ability to become a Necromancer, and Necromancers we absolutely despise. I do think, however, we could possibly make sense of a Daedra army if we came from the perspective of them essentially helping Meridia and being warriors of light. Now, from this image, they don't exactly strike as warriors of light, but there could be an argument there. I'm very careful not to just step on the toes of the fact that we are actually a worshipper of Meridia, trying to keep that in mind. So it seems like a lot of these are kind of down the line, but for example, we also get the ability to banish Daedra, which could work in our favor as well. So I think a lot of it depends on how we really scope it inside of our actual lore as well. I don't know if we'll go for Novice Conjuration just yet, but that could be very useful later. I think for now I'll take Apprentice Alteration. This gives us the ability to fortify buildings, increasing their fort level, construction time and cost, which is very nice, especially at grand level with Defender Advantage, but mainly because this unlocks Alteration, enabling us to just gain gold through Transmute. So for now, let's go Apprentice Alteration. Oh, and look at this, our wife is actually pregnant. Despite the fertility debuffs, we may actually have a child. Also, because our actual court priest was killed in that raid previously, our new one is terrible. Only 5 learning, so fabricating this claim on Pantherfang has taken us forever. Sprouting interest in nurturing plants. 20% chance we gain the trait herbalist. 60% seeker of knowledge for 10 years. Okay. We'll take that. No herbalist, but seeker and knowledge for +1 learning we'll take. Finally, we have our claim on Panther Fang. This is tremendous news. Gonna give it a few more months to get some more gold and we'll be straight in. And look at this. Our first child is a daughter. Fantastic. She did inherit attuned as well, which is fantastic. Our wife wants to name her after herself. I suppose that's okay, at least for now. Important to note as well that our succession at the moment, if I can find it, our gender law is currently equal. So right now, it would actually be our heir here in Harunuia. I probably should have picked a different name because I'm probably going to pronounce this one differently every time. What I was saying is that once we get Panther Fang, we'll probably want independence from there. The question is, do we want to actually adopt autocracy before or after we do that? This actually says adopt autocracy through liege, so I don't know if it's actually cheaper to do, given that our liege is already that government type. We may want to convert first and then go for independence, but we'll see when the time comes. Oh boy, the interregnum. For centuries, Cyrodiil and most of Tamriel was ruled by the Riemann dynasty, and then the potentate. Over the last few decades, the authority of the imperial province over the other regions of Tamriel diminished, until the potentates could only claim dominion over parts of Cyrodiil. As the potentate finally crumbled and fell, a power vacuum in Cyrodiil appeared, quickly filled by the Elder Council, who assumed control over the imperial city and its surrounding area. This new power, claiming legitimacy through the powers given to its council by the Alessian and Riemann lines, took the name of Imperial Commune. All over the world, central authorities crumble and the people look to their nearby lord for protection. The interregnum has officially started. So what has happened is that King Atribus, the man who overthrew the Akaviri potentate, has set up this new government led by the Elder Council that will take control of the Imperial Isle. They will be able to enforce their rule over all of the Heartlands. The rest of Cyrodiil will be free to peruse its own goal as independent realms, free from tyrants and foreign potentates. Every culture within the Cyrodiilic heritage loses access to the Lingua Tamarielis innovation. The interregnum has now begun and will last until someone worthy sits on the ruby throne and unites Tamriel. So what that's actually meant is that the empire above us has actually broken apart. There is the Heartlands themselves under the Protectorate. Currently, the Lord Protector is Vidius here, but everything else, including the kingdoms like Coral, there's Kavach over here as well, have all now broken apart and are now independent, which is actually amazing news for us, to be honest, because now we can start moving in to this northern kingdom without worrying about having to deal with an emperor. And it also means that we don't need to worry as much about alliances, as everything is a lot more individual here. So a time of immense opportunity for us. Speaking of opportunity, it is time for us to take the Priory of Panther Fang. Let's declare this war, raise up our troops, and head straight over. This should not be a difficult war. Hopefully, no surprises. Oh, someone is trying to murder my wife. That is not good at all. Thank you for finding it. Please make sure that does not happen. Enemy forces are just retreating. That's perfectly fine. I am happy to just siege this down by myself and win the war that way. The fort level here is 3. So let's actually see if I can cast a spell here. We'll do Destruction, Destroy Walls in Panther Fang. We can only cast the petty one, but that's still fine. Let's cast Destroy Walls. And that should take the fort level here down from 3 to 1. Yes, there we go. Perfect. Okay, with Panther Fang, we're now at 4 out of 4 domain holdings, as strong as we can possibly be, as we can have vassals currently since we're not even a duke. So after this, we're going to be looking to adopt autocracy, have a war of independence against our liege, try and found some duchies for ourselves, and then move north as quick as possible to try and pick up Nibenay, and really try and just position ourselves as strong as possible to eventually move in, take the Heartlands, and begin the Ayleid restoration. But for first steps, this has been tremendously successful. We have many more things to discover as we work down the mage tree, and who knows what other options await for us behind independence. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps this channel out a ton. A massive shout out to all of our channel members helping to support the channel and everything that I do here. And as always, a very special shout out to our Emperor's Hands tier in Faustbread and Kenny IDFK. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video.